I'm going to start off this video by saying, stop buying new studio gear. You don't need it. And if you watch till the end, I will give you tips and resources to maximize your current setup for free. For anyone starting out a home studio, buying gear is like injecting dopamine straight into your noggin. If you aren't careful, you will contract a deadly disease called gas. Anyone who has signed up for a Synchrony bank card from retailers like Guitar Center, Sweetwater, or Musician's Friend knows exactly what I'm talking about. It stands for Gear Acquisition Syndrome, and it will definitely ruin your financial future. It is the endless pursuit of thinking that after buying your first studio setup, that it was never good enough. Everything you bought will never be good enough, and you will always be upgrading and adding new pedals, synths, plugins, and microphones until you have to file bankruptcy after buying that Sony C800 mic. Even if your buddy who told you about the gear that you bought said everything you got was pretty good, it still feels like it was worthless compared to the multi-million-dollar studios you see famous artists recording songs in. There's a funny thing about that. Some of their biggest records were recorded in hotels or on the road. T-Pain recorded one of his biggest songs, Bartender, in a hotel with one of the early gen M-Box audio interfaces and a microphone cable he borrowed from a DJ friend of his. You must be wondering, how do you improve your sound quality when you're recording on a potato? Let's start at the source, you and the mic. First, get yourself ready. Drink some room temperature water, or a throat coat tea, or chug some honey like that energy drink you just probably slammed 5 minutes ago to stay awake to finish your idea. Second, practice a little bit. Get the flow of things, and set the mic level to where you're not clipping when you're a good distance away from the microphone. That can be around 6 to 9 inches. It all depends on the device you are using. If you live in your mom's unfinished basement, consider covering yourself or the wall you are recording near with a heavy blanket to help kill some of the horrible concrete slapback in the room. If you get your takes right, it's always easier to deal with it on the computer side. That is the next step to solving your problems. Some people don't realize the relationship with your computer and your setup is one of the other key factors in creating a high quality recording. Making sure you have your laptop plugged in or your device off of power saving mode and into high performance mode when recording will make sure things are running more smoothly. Turning on any delay compensation and reduce latency when monitoring settings always helps. The biggest help is usually getting the buffer size or the block size set correctly. Usually 256, which is the number they automatically set it at, is pretty good. Sometimes it still causes issues. Make sure, if you haven't already, look up the products you got for recording and see if there are any drivers required to operate them correctly. Those help. If you are getting a ton of clicks and pops still, you may need to turn off your computer browser or other apps to free up CPU and RAM. Or you may need to adjust the buffer size to a higher number. Higher number equals more latency. Lower number equals less latency and better sample accuracy, which means extra crispy phase alignment. And for you non-nerds, it means everything sounds better and lines up better on the grid. If you can go lower with the number, you will typically get better results. Timing is very important, and getting vocals or any sounds recorded in phase by nudging them on the grid to the left or the right ever so slightly helps. If you have software like Pro Tools or Ableton, there are built-in tools that allow you to adjust this without moving clips on the timeline. Just be careful to do it after all of your recording so you don't waste time. No pun intended. Either way, the stock setting is a good middle ground, especially if you like to track with a couple of plugins like EQ, compression, reverb, and delay. If you do track ideas with plugins, make sure they are zero latency or have a setting for that. It will drive you nuts if you don't, because all that hard work now comes crashing down. Sometimes, literally. And now you've lost your entire project. If you understand these main principles, it will automatically help you if you end up getting infected with gas and blowing up your entire 401k on your rap career. Say you ended up infected with gas and think that outboard gear will solve all your problems. What if I told you pretty much every top engineer mixes in the box now because they can get emulations of the real pieces of gear like the Teletronics LA2A and the Pultec EQ P1A and use it a bazillion times on multiple sounds in one one mix? What if I told you that your sound has to end up in a stereo digital track anyways? Really, if you don't know why, what, or the reason why you're buying it, you just now experience symptoms of gas. I was at Sweetwater as a sales engineer at one point in my career, and I remember peddling new gear to you sickos. And from the bottom of my heart, I'm truly sorry. Most of you didn't need it. You just really wanted it, and all I did was tell you how awesome it was so you would finally say yes and help me fill my fridge. I ended up being over 300 pounds before leaving there, so I guess it worked. I'm no real audio engineer like back in the day because they were real electrical engineers. I'm a lot more like these softies who mouse click and button push their way to an overcompressed MP3 file to upload to Bandcamp. All of us are now because the technology has become more convenient, high quality, and easier to use than ever. All of the resources are cheaper than ever, so go do it. Even if all you have is some cups and a shoestring budget, you can make it happen. Keep going. God has you here for a reason and gave you a gift. And if you don't know Jesus, I pray you end up getting to know him on a deeper level. Here is some wisdom I learned from the Bible to help you on this musical journey. Philippians 4:11 through 13 says, "Not that I speak in regard to need, for I have learned in whatever state I am to be content. I know how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I have learned both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Being content with what you have is what gets you further in anything you do. We all go through good times and hard times. Trusting in Jesus is what really gives you strength to push through whatever part of life you are in. When good times abound, we get comfortable. When bad times roll through, we try to rely on our own strength. If there's anything that I've learned, trusting in God for your strength and realizing you are weak is what allows you to move forward in life and not let it weigh you down. If this video blessed you in any way, drop a like, drop a subscribe, share it with your friends. And if you need free resources, I will link tons of free plugins for you to help you on your recording journey in the description. If you need more help with your recording setup, songwriting, or music making skills, book a call with me below and we could take that next step. Thanks for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Jesus loves you.